Fun fact, do you want to know what the worst smell in a reef store is? It's when you forget for an hour that you have fish food waiting, defrosting, waiting to feed. It's still fine, it just stinks. Anyway. Hello reefers and welcome back to Tidepool Aquatics. This video is another talks video. I'm enjoying the talks videos. I've got nothing really to show off at the moment. That sounds slightly depressing. My bird's about to knock the camera off into a tank. I'm not meant to have her on my shoulder, but I don't want to knock the camera off. Yeah, so this video is to talk about... I've been thinking about this all day of how I'm actually going to talk about this video without it getting political, because that's not what I want it to become. The facts. The fact of the matter is, so this video is about the current coral bleaching that's occurring in the Great Barrier Reef. Now, you people that are overseas, people from overseas, you usually get your coral from Indonesia, the Red Sea, Florida, you know, the Caribbean, and Australia. A lot of it comes from Australia. And then there's other places, Solomon Islands, list goes on. Now, we are running into a lot of issues where bleaching is actually affecting those reefs. So at the moment, Australia has gone through a large major bleaching event, and it has affected things here. So in Australia, where we are, we don't get stuff from other places except fish. We can't get coral or inverts or anything else from... It's illegal to import inverts into Australia. It's not illegal to import vertebrates like fish and whatever, but we can't import coral and all that. So when you see an Australian tank, everything from in that tank that is an invert is from Australia. But that also means that when Australia has a major bleaching event, and maybe they're not having any elsewhere, it is bad because the stuff that we collect, we can't collect. And I just wanted to say that we're being affected by it, and it makes me nervous for the future of this hobby. Obviously aquaculture is becoming a thing, but it's probably not becoming a thing fast enough. I want to do it. I want to do as much aquaculture as I can, and there are some places in Australia that are doing it. The issue is that if we lose a lot of that stuff before we can get it aquacultured, then that part of the hobby's gone. So getting in some coral, I was trying to do an order for some inverts coral and fish through one of my suppliers that are down south, and they can't. There's simply nothing alive, or they're too stressed to take from the wild. They're bleached. The fish are gone. You know, they've moved to somewhere where the reef is not dead or bleached. Bleached does not mean dead. It is scary and frightening, and I think us as reefers should have a part to say, and I don't know, we should have a part in it because it does affect us. So if there's some of you might know, I actually have a science background. I was, well, still am a scientist, and I do plan to get my PhD in eventually. So a Bachelor of Zoology, Ecology is what I'm officially got, and I've done some research papers and stuff. So I understand how they go about doing all this, and I have that knowledge, and then I also have knowledge from potentially the behind the scenes, because I know some of the scientists who do actually generally do work on the Great Barrier Reef surveys and stuff. I know them personally, and it is they have hope still, so I'm willing to trust them essentially. And I think that as hobbyists we should, whatever your political standpoint is, the issues we're having with the coral reefs are happening, and we know 100% why. And I think as reefers, we need to both be around, because having a reef tank is actually just acting like a little sanctuary for those coral and fish. You know, they act as a sanctuary, like a zoo. And if we do unfortunately lose those reefs, we can then use those corals that you have to replenish the reef eventually, you know. So having reef tanks, in my opinion, is a very good thing. We do need to be aware that it could be temporary if stuff is not done. So this is just a little bit of advocation, like, as someone who is literally right next door to the Great Barrier Reef. I've been out on my boat, and it's heartbreaking when you see it. It's genuinely happening, and as someone who's seen the papers, done the science, been out in the field and seen the results, it's not good. But that doesn't mean that it's going tomorrow. You know, we've still got a long time in this hobby, and it's not something that everyone needs to worry. In fact, you don't need to worry about it, because there's nothing that you as an individual can do on a grand scale. But it's what you can do, and then what I do, and then what that guy does, and then what they all do, and 100,000 people do the same little thing. It adds up to a lot. I'm feeling like this video is kind of just all over the place, because I'm trying not to offend people or get on anyone's bad side, because that's not my goal. At the end of the day, we're all reefers, whatever you believe, no matter what. But I would like, just coming from someone who is being affected by climate change, it is a problem. It is, I just want more, actually, I know what it is. I want reefers to know that what's in your tank has come from something that, while it's not immediately connected to you, it is distantly connected to you. By owning a reef tank, you are connected to the reef, because that had to come from the reef, and that reef currently is either needing our help or will need our help in the end. So anyway, I just wanted to say, that's just what I wanted to say. Business has been affected by the coral bleaching, and this is not going to be the last time. I hope eventually it gets better, and this stops happening. But, that's just how it is. And I'm happy to say, like, the reef has had, a few years ago, before this bleaching event, like 2 years ago, the reef had a huge growth burst. And a lot of people argue that that is just the normal cycle of things. Some of the reef dies and then it grows back. But the reef never grew back to more than it was. It just grew back a lot. And that really was a good boost for the health of the reef. But now with this bleaching event, I'm not sure of the stats, and I can't make that assumption yet. But I would guess that a lot of that damage has been reversed, because that's just what happens. So it is happening, and reefers will feel it eventually. And that should be motivation enough to want to do something, whatever your political standing is. Eventually your tank will be affected by this. Maybe that's the best way to put it. I just wanted to, I just wanted to say that. Coral bleaching sucks. And my supplier can't get me my pretty stuff. There you go. I hope I didn't step on anyone's toes or anything. I felt like I needed to say it, because it is something that's happening. By the way, like, an update on the store. These are doing well. I love these. They were good purchases. Fish are healthy, and they stay healthy. Raft system has no disease in it still. I still have a flame angel over there who's waiting to sell to someone. They're expensive, so I understand, but he is so pretty. Seeing a flame angel in person is just something else. That might not mean anything to anyone who's like used to buy them for $50, but look after your tanks, look after yourselves, look after the planet, and the planet will then look after your tank. That's a good way to put it. Maybe I can refine that. Look after the planet and it'll look after your tank. You still probably have to do water changes though. Anyway, thanks for watching. Happy reefing, guys.